Hi everyone, it's Katarina, and first today I want to thank all of our new subscribers. We've had a lot of new subscribers lately, and we really appreciate that. If you want to subscribe, just hit the subscribe button up here above my shoulder. And if you like what you see, hit the like button, that would be awesome. And if you have any comments or questions about the products that I'm using today, or any tips about journaling, or any questions about art journaling, feel free to leave them in the comment section and I'll get back to you as soon as I possibly can. So thanks a lot. So art journaling, it is a topic that is very near and dear to my heart. I love to art journal. I've been art journaling since 2007. I started out with the Artist's Way, and I was a facilitator for the Artist's Way, and then I began art journaling. And this stack of books represents my life from 2007 all the way to the present in this book, this hardcover art journal. These are all antiques. They're antique record albums, and I worked really hard to get them to some kind of archival quality. Some of them were falling apart. Some of them were a little better shape, but they still have some of their issues. And this book is a little newer. It's brand new. It's a Strathmore mixed media book, and I'm going to show that to you today, as well as I'm going to give you a few things. First of all, some tips to art journalers who are starting out for the first time. If you've never art journaled before, we'll talk about that. I know it's a little bit intimidating when you start out. And then the next thing is I have some thoughts for seasoned art journalers, because we tend to get stuck in a rut when we've been art journaling for a while. And I also thought I would show you my creative process for the month of November, so you can actually see how my pages progress through the month. So we took still pictures so that you can see how often I move around the collage elements and paint and cover things up and write. So that might be kind of interesting for you, and I'll show you my pages for the month as well. So for beginning journalers, there are two rules in art journaling. Number one is there aren't any rules, and that's very intimidating, I know. Then the second rule is you can't make a mistake. So that kind of eliminates the first rule, right? It frees you. So if you can't make any mistakes and you're making something that's just for you, what would you make? So if you're terrified of getting an actual book and starting out with blank pages, then one of the easiest ways that I would, easiest things that I would do is just to get a mixed media book or a sketchbook if you want. Beginners, you can have just a magazine and glue sticks and scissors and just go to it and write. You don't have to get real fancy. You don't have to do transfers. You don't have to do all these complicated things to journal, to art journal. But if you want to, that's great, and we can show you how to do that too. So my second tip for beginners is to focus on something, because it is intimidating being able to do anything that you want to do. So focus on a word, a color, a quote, and you don't have to write it in the journal, but you can process it and find images that you feel correspond to that quote, word, color, feeling, vibration, whatever you want to call it, that you want to journal about, and start there so that your 2 pages, and art journaling is usually a diptych, 2 pages together. You can do one single page. Like I said, there aren't any rules, but generally it's considered a diptych. So start there. Focus on one thing. That's all you have to do. You can choose the color red and go crazy with red and talk about how you love red or what that makes you feel like. It doesn't really matter, just as long as you get started. So this is my current art journal, and it already has almost a whole year in it. I still have to do December's pages because we were gone for 3 weeks. So I can give you a quick look at this book. So January last year, February, March, April, May, June. And June is a pop-up page, so I'm going to show you how to do pop-up pages in another segment, probably in February. So we'll do that later. And then this is July, August, September, October, and these are my finished pages for November. And I'm going to talk about those when we come back, but first, here's the process. We'll show you the process that I did in order to get to these pages. So we'll show that to you right now. The first thing that I did was to write directly on the page with pencil over and over again. Then I used acrylic glazing medium and acrylic paint to cover the pages with. Then I chose my collage elements, trying out different forms. Finally, I glued a map down to the page and ripped it off. And then the final elements came together perfectly. So my journal pages for November were about my trip and traveling to Italy, and they're very personal for me. They're about my grandmother and how much courage she had to come here to this country, and if she hadn't done that, I wouldn't be here. So that's what my pages are about, sort of in a nutshell. And the last thing I wanted to share with you is that I used wax paper to keep the pages from sticking. And actually the very best thing to use is clear gesso. That's the best thing to use. Wax paper is inexpensive, and if you're a beginning journaler, it's really easy to use it. And personally, I just like the way it looks. I think it looks really cool. So that's my tip. So for advanced journalers, if you've been journaling for a long time like I have, it isn't really a boredom that sets in, but it's more like you get stuck in a rut and you start doing the same things all the time. And so my best tips for advanced journalers is break out of the same old thing. And one of the ways I would say is if you've always used magazines to art journal, one of the best things that you could do is to copy the images and photocopy them and then use them in your journal to paint over. So if it's a person with blonde hair, make that black hair, or put glasses on them, or paint over them, and use those images in a completely different way. The other thing that you could do is, if you've always used magazine photos, is to photocopy them and make transfers and use those in your book. You could actually transfer right to the page, or you could transfer to cloth or to paper, whatever you want to do, and that's going to change things up a bit, and it's going to ignite your muse. And the last tip I have for you guys is that if you're really stuck and things just don't seem to be working out right for you, try doing your pages, try creating an abstract in your pages. 2 pages of abstract. So express your emotion or whatever's going on for you that week, that day, that month, however, whenever you decide to journal. My process is once a month, but you might do it every day or every week. And try to create an abstract that expresses how you feel. Because when you do it without an image, that really breaks a lot of things loose. So try that and see what you think. And so next week we're going to have something really fun for you. I know everybody loves to do a studio tour, and so instead of doing a full studio tour, because actually right now at the Lily House we're pretty busy, I've got a lot of deadlines that I'm meeting and things that I have to do, but I'm going to show you what's on my shelves. I have a bookshelf in my studio, and I thought I would show you that. So artist shelfies for next week. And I'm going to talk about all the art and all of the things that are up there and why they're special to me and why I keep them. And I know I'm like a lot of other artists. We love creating little shrines and little things. We collect things that create inspiration for us in the studio. So I'll be talking to you about that next week. So I hope you'll join us. So I'll see you then. Ciao, ciao.